welcome back to Two Vegans Cook. I'm Alice, this is Lucy, and today we're sharing some vegan tasty Singaporean treats, including vegan chicken rice.
This video is inspired by time I spent in Singapore with one of my close friends who is Singaporean and who I was fortunate enough to study with at university. She took me around and food featured heavily in our trip. We literally ate between 3 to 5 times every day, and it was wonderful and it was delicious. But it was before my vegan days, so what I wanted to do is take some of the classics that I ate in Singapore and turn them vegan with Alice's help. But before we tuck in, leave us a like, comment and subscribe to our channel. Every like, comment and subscribe helps to support our channel and helps us to keep bringing you amazing vegan recipes. Also, don't forget to check out our website, twoveganscook.com, where you can find all of our delicious vegan recipes and more. And if you like this video and our vegan Singaporean recipes, why not try out our Chinese-inspired vegan recipes or our Indian-inspired vegan feast?
Chicken rice is a Singaporean classic, which is why our first recipe is vegan chicken rice. It's also one of Lucy's friends' favourite meals. Our vegan chicken rice is a twist on the classic, using tempeh, which is marinated in soy sauce and spice. It's served with rice cooked in a garlicky, mushroomy broth with dollops of sambal on the side. You can find our sambal recipe at the end of this video.
If you've ever visited Singapore, you probably have tried satay. Satay is traditionally a grilled meat with a lovely peanut sauce. To turn this recipe vegan, we have grilled tofu in a griddle pan so they get those lovely charred black lines and that rich smoky flavour, and on the side we of course have the amazing peanut sauce. This will make this recipe perfect for any summer barbecue that you and your friends are having this time of year. Our third vegan Singaporean dish is Nasi Lemak. Nasi Lemak is a classic Malay dish and it's traditionally served with fried fish, fried egg, cucumber and nuts on the side. Nasi Lemak can be found throughout Singapore in various restaurants and hawker centres, and this is why we've included it in this video on vegan Singaporean food. The wonderful thing about Nasi Lemak is that it's a fragrant aromatic dish and it's sometimes served with a pandan leaf. Now we don't have pandan leaves to hand, but what we have got is a delicious tofu scramble, some juicy tomatoes, delicious rich creamy coconut rice and some aromatic carrots and beans. And of course we've got some delicious heaps of sambal on the side. The recipe for the sambal can be found at the end of this video.
So what are we waiting for? Let's tuck in.
Our vegan Singaporean cooking idea is the comforting dish chicken rice. Very simple but absolutely delicious. This is the perfect comforting meal. Start by marinating the chicken element, otherwise known as tempeh. We don't often cook with tempeh, but it really comes into its own in this recipe. In a large dish, mix together 2 teaspoons of maple syrup, 1 teaspoon of Chinese 5-spice powder, half a teaspoon of black treacle, 3 to 4 teaspoons of grated fresh ginger, 2 tablespoons of light soy sauce and a pinch of white pepper. Coat all the tempeh slices in the marinade on both sides and leave in the dish to infuse. Meanwhile, prepare the soup. Heat 1 teaspoon of coconut oil in a pot and fry 2 cloves of garlic and 2 to 3 teaspoons of freshly grated ginger. Chop in 2 to 3 spring onions and fry for a few minutes. Pour in 1.5 litres of water and add 5 to 6 sliced mushrooms, 1 teaspoon of nutritional yeast and half a teaspoon of salt. Bring to the boil and simmer for 30 minutes. Just before the soup is finished cooking, get the marinated tempeh to the oven. Transfer from the dish onto a lined baking tray and bake in the oven at 180 degrees C for 10 minutes. Don't throw away any leftover marinade, you'll need it later. Now get the rice going. Pour out all but 2 cups of soup into Tupperware and save until you are ready to eat. Add 1.5 cups of jasmine rice to the remaining soup with 3 to 4 teaspoons of grated fresh ginger. Cover and bring to the boil. Simmer for 15 minutes until the rice is cooked. Once the tempeh has had 10 minutes in the oven, take it out and baste it with the remaining marinade. Turn to the oven for another 15 minutes. We like to eat this in a bowl with the hot soup poured over a mound of rice topped with fragrant tempeh and plenty of mushrooms from the soup. We top this with our homemade sambal. Keep watching for the recipe.
Next up is our tofu satay. We couldn't resist including this aromatic treat. Start by marinating the tofu. Whisk together a few teaspoons of grated fresh ginger with 1 teaspoon of ground turmeric, 2 teaspoons of coriander, 2 teaspoons of cumin, 4 tablespoons of sugar and 3 tablespoons of light soy sauce. Add 1 block of firm, plain tofu cut into thin rectangular slices. Leave this to one side while you prepare everything else. The longer you leave it to marinate, the better. Now make the satay sauce. Heat 1 teaspoon of coconut oil in a large pan or a wok. Fry half an onion finely chopped with 1 crushed garlic clove until the onion is nice and soft. Add half a teaspoon of ground coriander, a quarter of a teaspoon of cumin, a quarter of a teaspoon of fennel seeds, and 2 dried chilies or some chili flakes. Continue to fry for a few more minutes before adding 2 tablespoons of sugar, 2 teaspoons of tamarind paste, and 1 tablespoon of light soy sauce. Mix this all together before adding 300 ml of coconut milk. The leftovers from the Nasi Lemak, cook gently for 5 minutes. Don't boil it too vigorously or the coconut milk will split. Finally, add 1 cup of ground roasted peanuts. We used our mixer to chop up peanuts we toasted in a small frying pan for a few minutes. And then 1 tablespoon of crunchy peanut butter. Continue cooking until the sauce is the right thickness, and this should take around 5 minutes. Now, cook your marinated tofu. Heat a griddle pan over a high heat, and once it's hot, place the tofu strips neatly inside. Cook them in batches if necessary. After a few minutes, flip over the tofu. It should have a perfect charred line across from the pan.
Our vegan Singaporean cooking ideas, we have Nasi Lemak. Traditionally in Malaysia, this is a breakfast, and it makes an excellent brunch when you want something exotic and nutritious. Start by preparing the rice. Put 1½ cups of jasmine rice in a pan with 1 lemongrass stalk. We use dried lemongrass here. Half a teaspoon of salt and 3/4 of a cup of coconut milk. Keep the rest of the coconut milk to make our vegan satay sauce for another Singaporean meal. Pour in 1½ cups of water. Stir together and bring to the boil, covered with a lid for 15 minutes. While the rice is cooking, put 1 teaspoon of coconut oil on a large wok or pan. Add 1 finely chopped or crushed garlic clove and fry for a minute. Add your favourite green beans, we use broad beans, and 2 carrots chopped into battens. Sprinkle with 1/4 teaspoon of salt and add 1/4 cup of water. Cover with a lid to steam until the vegetables are soft. In another pan, cook the tofu scramble. Melt 1 teaspoon of coconut oil and crumble in 1 block of firm plain tofu. Season with salt, 1 tablespoon of nutritional yeast, and a pinch of each of ground turmeric and pepper. Stir this all together well as it cooks, about 5 minutes. To assemble, give each plate a pile of rice. On one side, place a generous pile of veggies, on the other pile up that tofu scramble. Add a few slices of fresh tomato for contrast and finish it off with some dollops of homemade vegan sambar. The recipe is at the end of this video.
So thank you for learning how to make vegan chicken rice with us and other vegan Singaporean dishes like Nasi Lemak and like the amazing satay. We hope that you've enjoyed this video. If you have, give us a thumbs up and leave a comment below to let us know which was your favourite dish and which one you're going to be making. If you make any of those dishes, make sure to take a picture of it and put it on your Instagram story, Facebook story or Twitter and tag us in it. And don't forget that you can find the full recipes for these amazing dishes on our website, twoveganscook.com. Thanks for watching. We will see you again in 2 weeks' time. Bye!